Hello and welcome to Link Ahead, the City of Dublin Podcast. I'm Lindsay Weisenauer, Director of Communications and Public Information.
And I'm Bruce Edwards, Digital and Brand Manager for the City of Dublin. All right, Lindsay, I know you're an avid tennis player, but have you taken advantage of the new pickleball courts next door?
Oh, well, I would love to, but they're always so busy. Those things are busy all the time. So, no, I've never had a chance to play pickleball, but I know you have.
I have. I actually have some pickleball rackets in the office at any time if anybody wants to go over and use it.
So imagine having these kinds of responsibilities: curb-to-curb snow removal in the winter, planning awesome events that attract people from all around the world, and maintaining all of Dublin's best-in-class services and facilities, including popular pickleball courts.
Here's proof that superheroes do exist. Please welcome today's guest, Dublin's Deputy City Manager and Chief Operating Officer, Robert Ranc. Welcome, Robert.
Thanks, Bruce. It's great to be here.
So you've been with the city since June of 2021, coming to us from the city of Burleson, Texas. Tell us what brought you here.
Well, first and foremost, Dublin brought me here. I'm from Ohio, and I grew up here. I've been gone for about 18, 19 years, but when a city like Dublin opens up, and I'm not just saying this because we're on a Dublin podcast, but when an opportunity in a city like Dublin opens up, Dublin is a premier city, and so it was a great opportunity to come to a city that does everything really just first class and is involved in an amazing projects and events, and the services are phenomenal, and to be a part of this team is just a great opportunity, and it's a great chance to do that and come back to my home state.
So we got to know, coming from Texas and all, what do you think is the most challenging thing about snow removal in Dublin?
Well, I was in Texas for 3 years, but I was in Utah for years before that. And so had some, quite a bit of experience with snow removal out there. And ultimately, anytime you're dealing with the weather, it's just unpredictable, right? So the good news is we have a great and experienced group of people here. The team really just makes my job pretty easy as it pertains to snow plowing. And it's just making sure that people can get where they need to get to safely. And our public safety services like fire and police and ambulance services are able to get around our streets safely. So, like I said, it's just being able to rely on the team and the experience they have and doing it right.
So you're still relatively new. With your fresh eyes, I'm dying to know what makes Dublin, Ohio special.
Well, like I said, we don't do anything small here, right? And so there's very few cities that will put on something like an Irish Fest or our Independence Day experience. I brought some of my family down to Independence Day last year, and they were just like, "So this is a city event?" Or and it's true. So there's nothing we do that's small. Or we've got the Dublin Link Bridge and Riverside Crossing Park, which we just dedicated. Those are incredible. Those are world-class facilities, and they're right here. And so it's incredible to be in a city the size of Dublin, 50,000 people, which is not small, but it's not huge either. And for a city our size to do what we do is just spectacular.
Now, do you get to have a weighted vote when it comes to who we're bringing in for the Independence Day entertainment?
I don't. I just wait with bated breath myself to see who it's going to be. So we'll make that announcement soon. We're excited.
Awesome. So your first year was very atypical with COVID. Now that mask mandates are lifted and hopefully we're getting back to normal, what are you personally looking forward to?
I think just gathering people, like you said, getting back to normal. It's the small things that you miss, just getting to go to a facility like the recreation center or an event, Irish festival, and it's interesting. It's that case in anything in life. You don't really appreciate the little things until the little things aren't there anymore. And so it's getting to just come together as a community and have events and gather together in a way that we're used to gathering. And so I think just getting back to all those little things in a way that's normal, right? That you're not worried about social distancing or do I wear a mask or don't I wear a mask? And all those things are important. I'm not minimizing those things at all. And we did a great job in making sure that we kept people safe throughout the pandemic, and we'll continue to do that. But hopefully, as cases keep going down, we'll be able to get back to doing things like we did before.
Yeah, absolutely. And we are all looking forward to bringing the Dublin Irish Festival back to Kaufman Park this year and hosting the festival in a quote unquote normal way. You must be fired up for your first real diff.
I am. It's funny because, of course, all I know is Irish Festival from last year, which was Irish Days, and I was pretty impressed myself. And people, I must have probably every 10 minutes I was there, someone would come up to me and say, well, this is not our normal thing, right? This is not what we do. We do something so much better. And I was like, yeah, I thought it was pretty good. So, no, I am really excited to have Irish Festival back and have it at Kaufman Park and get back to that in our 35th year. So it's very exciting.
Yeah. So do you listen to any Irish bands or have any favorites you're excited to see?
I loved Gaelic Storm last year, which I know is kind of probably the go-to answer,
Okay,
but it really
great.
was a ton of fun and had a really good time.
So you recently gave a presentation as part of our State of the City address, and one line in particular really caught my attention. You said the state of our city is world class.
Right.
How so?
I think that all around what we do is world class. Of course, for me, I'm focused on operations. And so I think that we put our resources, and we're blessed to have great resources here in Dublin, but we put them into things. I know we're going to talk about this a little bit, like the Go Dublin app, which allows people we basically deputize the entire city. One of the hardest things to do. We have a lot of staff here, and they do a great job keeping their eyes on what's going on in the city, but there's only so many people, and everyone's working, and so if there's some issue happening somewhere in the city that we can't always know about, we basically deputize everyone to tell us, which makes ultimately our job easier. And then, of course, it's not just operations, but it's a team lift, right? So our economic development team is top notch. One of the things that I was so impressed with and constantly impressed with is the way that this city is been planned, and the way that council members, and this goes back for years, right? You don't get a city that's planned and put together in terms of development as well as Dublin without a lot of disciplined, intelligent decisions over a lot of years by policymakers. And we've clearly had years and years of policymakers making those decisions for the best, of the community going forward. And so really, I just think we're always looking for ways to improve, and that's part of being world class too, right? It's important to talk about how great we are, but it's also important not to rest on our laurels and make sure that we're always looking forward to what's next and what can we do better and how can we improve and always driving forward. And so I think those are the things that have made us and will continue to keep us a world-class city.
Yeah, I've never heard the deputized line before, but that's awesome. That's exactly what you're doing. I mean, everyone carries around one of these devices, whether it's 24/7, whether we want it or not. The fact that you can say, hey, Dublin, take a look at this, it's a cool thing. So speaking of the Go Dublin app, a lot of people have it. I'm surprised not everyone has it yet. But what are some things, like, what's a selling point for you if you were to go up to somebody and say, hey, man, why don't you have the Go Dublin app?
So I just did this the other day. So I had a friend who had a sidewalk issue in front of his house, something that might seem small, but it's important. And so I said, well, why don't, he knows what I do for work. And I said, well, why don't you report that using Go Dublin? He said, well, what's Go Dublin? And I said, well, why don't you download it and I'll show you. And I think that what's so great about it is you're able to quickly get in touch with the city. And what I hope people realize is there's real people looking at this, right? So So when you get a message back from Go Dublin, that's a real person. It's not just an automated message that you're getting. And so it takes out all that, well, who do I call at the city? I need to find time to call. I don't know the number. I mean, and of course we're happy to talk to people when they call, but it's also a really fast way and you're able to take a picture, and it geolocates where you are, so it makes your life easier. It makes our life easier because we know, okay, here's the issue, here's the description, here's a picture. We know exactly what we need to do, and our goal is to have a meaningful response back to people within 2 days, I should say, 2 working days. And what we mean by that is we're going to tell you, hey, we've received your message, and either it's fixed, because sometimes it just is fixed that fast. We have a team, a Go Dublin team, and we call it hot work, right? Really fast work that we're able to go out and do. And if we're able to do that, we do it very quickly, often within the same day. But if it's something that's going to take a little bit more time, we're going to tell you, hey, this is when the planned fix is. You've got a work order in. Here's when you can expect to see it done, and we'll follow up with you when it's done. And so it's just a really great way to know exactly what's happening and not feel like it's it's the cable company where you call and it just goes into the abyss of what's going to happen. So our goal is not to be the cable company.
It's a good goal, lofty goal. But I think one of the biggest selling points is that city staff use it. So if somebody calls me or calls the city manager or calls anyone, what are we going to do with that information? We put it into the Go Dublin app because it's like this magic button that makes stuff happen.
Right.
Okay, so what's the most popular request you see?
Chipper service. Last year, at least, we got 7,000 requests last year. Approximately, of course, but and that was more than double than the first year it was up and running, and the request for that chipper service, which was great, and we see, like I said, though, you can put any there's kind of some preset services, but you can put anything in there that you're looking for, and you can also receive updates and news and directly from the city. So it's a really great all-in-one place to go and get your information and provide the city the requests that you need to make your life easier.
Now, Dublin residents and our community and our city council are passionate about sustainability. And if I'm understanding correctly, we're talking several tons of material to get composted each year. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
We do. We are incredibly committed to sustainability, and that's something that is going to be a big push for us moving forward. Last year, we implemented the pumpkin disposal option for our composting, which was incredibly popular. I have never seen so many pumpkins stacked in one place in my life. It was pretty amazing. It was over at the service center where I work, and it was pretty cool to come in every day and see the container filling and filling.
You had to bring like in an extra truck, I think. I saw.
We did. We had to take. We did. We had a ton. We had in fact 76 tons.
Wow.
76 tons, which is 11 school buses worth of pumpkins. And those all are diverted. We talk a lot about diversion rate, which is just a really fancy way of saying keeping things out of the landfill. And so we were able to keep those out of the landfill, which is great for our environment. And to be able to put those organic materials into a composting program is fantastic.
What can residents look forward to this spring and summer? I know we have over 60 parks. We have over 140 miles of shared use paths. What is it? What are we looking forward to this spring?
Well, I think, with the pandemic receding, hopefully, of course, at the DCRC, we're looking forward to being able to hopefully have more people come back there. And then, as it pertains to our parks, obviously, it's going to be all the great offerings that we offer. And I think our path system here is second to none. And we also are working on updating our parks master plan. And so that's something that this spring that we're going to be reaching out for public involvement and looking at what people want to see in our park system for the next 5 to 10 years and making sure that we're staying world class like we talked about. And so I think people can look forward to telling us what they want to see.
Such a great example. You talk about not resting on your laurels. Some people with 64 parks and everything's great that we might stop, but no, we still have to have a master plan. So that's great. So you mentioned the DCRC, a lot of walking, running, biking, lifting took place there during COVID. So many residents told us over the last 2 years that it was such a needed outlet. Talk about that facility for us.
The DCRC is a great community recreation center, and like you said, I mean, health is something we also take important here in Dublin, and making sure that we provide people the opportunity to stay healthy. And I think the DCRC is really important for that, particularly when it comes to living in a place that's has a winter climate. Being able to have a great place to go inside during those colder months is great. And so, the DCRC is also another area where we're always looking to improve and to make sure that we're staying on top of our game there.
So during COVID, we all had our own outlets. I started to learn how to play the guitar. What was your personal outlet? Was it cooking? Was it painting? What were you into?
It was not cooking or painting. I don't paint. For me, I like to run. And so having a place like Dublin that has these trails is incredible. I hear so many people when I first got here, one of the things that people I talk to would say is never cut the budget on trails and keep the trails great. And of course we will, we won't cut the budget. We will keep the trails great. And so, but I agree. I mean, you're able to just go for so many miles off road or off sidewalks just on dedicated shared use paths. And it's great. So being able to take advantage of that, I live here in Dublin. And so being able to take advantage of that is phenomenal. I love to read too and relax that way. And and I've got 3 kids, and spending time with them is not necessarily relaxing.
Nope.
It's fun.
Oh, well, Bruce, I think it's time for some rapid fire here.
This is the best part of the podcast.
We love it.
All right. So, Robert, favorite lunch spot in Dublin?
Cap City.
Ooh, dinner spot.
The Pearl.
What one Texas food do you miss the most?
Tex-Mex tacos, specifically a place called Velvet Taco.
Very specific.
I miss Velvet Taco. I do.
I kind of want to try that. City service that gives you the biggest smile.
Our Teen Buddy initiative.
City service that can keep you up at night.
Anything related to weather.
Unpredictable. Okay, your go-to park or outdoor space in Dublin?
Avery Park. It's right by my house.
Oh, Avery. That's a good one. Well, nicely done. Robert Ranc, Deputy City Manager and Chief Operating Officer. Thank you for joining us on Link Ahead.
Thank you, Lindsay and Bruce. I appreciate it.
To keep up with the latest Dublin news and easily submit service requests to Robert and his team, be sure to download the Go Dublin app. It's free on your favorite app store.
I'll tell you what, I think we could have kept talking to Robert for about 3 more hours. Wow.
I know. He has a lot of responsibility.
He has a lot going on. I thought you were actually going to get the 4th of July entertainment out of him here on this podcast.
Well, if he would have said, hey, I've got a sneak peek, that would have been awesome. That would have been breaking news.
I think we're going to have to make that happen sometime.
Nice. Let's do that.
Thank you for taking the time to connect with your city. Tune in next time as we continue to explore the many personalities and experiences that make Dublin a thriving place to live, work, and grow.